Hello. For this tutorial we're going to look at natural history ID sheets. What I thought would be really nice as well is have a go with this, have a little bit of a practice and play around, and then this could also be our weekly challenge. So this is something that you could work on over the course of the week until you're waiting for the next instalment. And basically all I've done is gone into the garden, collected loads of flora and fauna. Did have some ladybirds, but I've left it too long, so I've let them go. But you can always go onto Google if you can't find any fauna. There's plenty of stuff on there to kind of look at. But there are plenty of insects and ladybirds and things like that around at the moment. And you could always try and get bees and things like that in flight as well, and just quickly sketch those in. Or if there's a butterfly that's staying quite still, take pictures of things in the garden as well, use those as inspiration. So we're going to make study sheets basically of all the collected materials in a few mediums. We'll use pencil, got a bit of pencil going on here, fine liner which I've started on here, and we'll maybe use a little bit of watercolour as well. So this is a kind of a double thing this really, because it's a really great way to get to know your natural history that's kind of around you. Great for practicing drawing obviously, and really good for seeing your subject, because if you've got things pinned down like you have here, like the Yorkshire fog, which kind of changes shape quite a bit as it matures, and the foxtails and the ivy leaves and the moon daisy and the hawthorn leaf, if they're pinned down and they're right in front of you, you really get a chance to really study things when you've collected them, rather than just seeing them out of doors. And it's just the simple practice of walking out and gathering helps you to see the small things that you normally pass by. There's so much to see. There's so much to see at ground level that you kind of just miss. There's shepherd's purse that grows all over the pavements everywhere, and pineapple weed and buttercups, and it's good to take time to slow down and look and just kind of connect with what's around you really. And there's so many interesting shapes and patterns and textures, so much tactile stuff that you can pick and use. So yeah, and it is a good way to connect to your natural environment. We're going to use HB pencil for this, and we'll also use either the pen that you've got in the pack, or we can use just an ordinary biro, a big biro, or a fine liner, which I've used here. And the watercolours that you've got as well, they're great for little wee studies and getting colour down quickly. So we're drawing out in pencil. So where is I think this is Water Speedwell, if I've ID'd it correctly. So flowers are, I think, in fives. Kind of work to a circle, which makes things a bit easier. And there's a wee star shape in the middle, 5 as well, I think. So we're not, same as before, we're not really after super accurate drawings. We are after the essence of things. So let's kind of sit in just here. And a bit there, quite delicate. So it's great, yeah, just like I've done there. It's great to get lost in this, especially if you find, an interesting item, and you can, Google. We've got the joy of the internet now. You can Google about moon daisies or oxeye daisies or whatever you'd like to call them. So much history connected to all the flora around, so many medicinal plants that we use that still grow in the hedgerows, and there's a lot of stuff there, that's edible. The wild garlic, the ramsons. Wild garlic's got a lot of history around it. So you can kind of get a little bit lost once you start doing a little bit of studying on things. But what I would say is it needs to be your interpretation of these plants We don't want like scientific representations. It needs to be your take on them, really. So don't focus on getting things absolutely perfect, especially with things that have got a lot of detail in them like these, because you will tie yourself in knots. So I've got the little speedwell flower here that I was copying before. So it's got some wee ridges that come away. Fine liners are quite good because depending on the pressure you use, you can have quite fine lines and then solid lines. Very versatile and pretty instant, and like biro, they're a good thing to use because you can't rub them out. So when you're putting the lines down, you're putting them down. So that takes away the option of drawing and redrawing and redrawing, which is a very big temptation when you're using pencil. Let's get a wee bit of the grass there as well. And you could really just leave them like that. There's really nice little studies with a bit of messy pencil underneath. And if you're brave enough, go for the fine liner on its own. So, yeah, your interpretation. And we don't want absolutely perfect drawings, but saying that, you might start to look at things and want to draw them really detailed. But I wouldn't get too precious about what you're doing initially. I would just kind of have a go with a few different plants, a few different flowers, see if you can find some ladybirds, butterflies. Enjoying the process is the most important part, I think, and the process of collecting. When you go out, you know, kind of enjoying looking at things, maybe enjoying taking photographs of things. So many amazing patterns and shapes and textures on all of these things. Got some ash keys here. I didn't realise we had half of this stuff in the garden. Got some, this is, if I put it against here, this is lesser stitchwort. So you see the greater stitchwort, very common in the hedgerows, but this one's not so common. And that's what I'm kind of talking about, really. You really start to notice things for this wee project. There's a little bit of a hawthorn. We've got some crack willow leaves here. They're just from the little stream just outside the house. A wee buttercup, field buttercup. There's a few different types of buttercups. And I've got the speedwell. So just see what you can find. And I know in and around Langham from doing the photography workshops, it is absolutely full of absolutely beautiful flora and fauna. So even in very close to the town, by the side of the river. So we want some lovely pages full of samples and sketches and colour studies and even leaf rubbings. So if your paper's a bit too thick in your journal, you can always get a bit of tracing paper or greaseproof paper and just have a go with some, what have we got there? That's a lime leaf, ivy leaf, hemlock, I think that's willow, that's hawthorn, there's some willow keys there, some ash keys, sorry. And that's just a really nice way of filling a page in a sketchbook. It works so well. You can rub these and then you can do drawings on the opposite page, or you can actually work into the rubbings, you know, and put some colour in there or charcoal, whatever you feel like. And then, oops, just bash the camera, you know, the watercolour sits really nicely with fine liner as well, so you've got the option of adding a little bit of colour in. It doesn't even have to be exact. I mean, it's just a suggestion of where the colour should be. So have fun with it. Some really nice subjects to work from. A nice way of collecting things and getting out, and you know, even if it's just in the garden to collect things. Fill your book up, you know, stick things in and have lots of fun with it. Thanks so much.